Alright, 6278, Florida Administrative Code 6780, is contaminated site cleanup criteria. The other one, 677, was repealed, I guess. 67080, contaminated site cleanup. Specific reference to the guideline information source listed below are made with the chapter the guidelines or information source is not standard defined in the statute. Section 403.803 for state statute for the guideline information source is not mandatory, not enforceable. The guidelines information source is included the informational purposes only. The approach of assessment, sediment quality in Florida coastal waters, volume 1 through 4, dated November 1994, technical report, development of cleanup target levels, chapter 62, 777, Florida Administrative Code, final report, the date of February 2005, chapter 62, 780, the Florida Administrative Code, contaminated site risk-based corrective action flow progress chart from dated March 12th, 21st, 2013, American Society of Testing Materials, RBCA, Faded in Transportation Model, Compendium and Selection Guidance, dated 1999, Guidance of Selection, Analytical Methods of Evaluation, Particle Quantitation Limitations, dated October 12th, 2004, Developing Evaluation Numerical Sediment Quality Assessment Guidelines for Florida Inland Waters, dated January 2003, Installation Control Procedure for the Guidance Division of Waste Management, Florida Department of Environmental Protection, dated November 2013, Guidance Evaluation, Technical and Practical Groundwater Restoration Environmental Protection Agency, draft interment and guidance for the site is November 1993, U.S. EPA, U.S. Environmental Protection Agency terminology used for the publication must consist consistent with the Department of Language used for the rule of the chapter. Toxicity test method, the Florida Department of Environmental Protection and Inter-Office Memorandum date 24th, 2004, U.S. Environmental Protection Agency Integrated Risk Information System database and provisional repair of the reviewed toxicity values derived by the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency Superfunded Technical Support and Content Center for the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency Superfund Program. Agency for the Toxin Substance Disease Registries Minimal Risk Levels Tolerable Upper Intake of the Levels issued in the Institute of Medicine and the National Academy of Science, U.S. Environmental Protection Agency Health Effects Assessment Summary Tables, Human Health and Benchmark pesticides, other toxicity values, technical documentation available to the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency Office Pesticide Program, U.S. Army Environmental Protection Agency Office of Water, Drinking Water Regulations, Health Advisory Levels, California Environmental Protection Agency Office of Environmental Health Hazard Assessment, Chronic Reference of Exposure Levels and Cancer Potency Values, World Health Organization Tolerable Daily Intake Values, International Toxicity Estimated with the Risk of 20 evaluated listed with withdrawal with the IRIS database. Rulemaking 376.30, 376.3071, 376.3071, 376.3078, 376.81, Florida State Law Implemented 376.3071, 376.3071, 376.3078, 306.781. History News, April 17, 2005, amended June 12, 2013, and February 4th, 2014. Alright, 62, 780, 110, purpose and intent, the general principles of rulemaking, 376.3070, Florida State Law, implemented 376.3007, Florida State History, April 17th, 2005, repealed, February 16th, 2012. Alright, applicability. The chapter applied for the site rehabilitation conducted for the site contaminated with the pollutants, hazardous substance, dry cleaning with the dissolved with petroleum products superseded with the chapter 62, 770, 782, 782, 785 with the subject of the grandfathering provision, subsection 762, 780, 150. Any corresponding reports cleanup with agreement with the documentation contract, similar documents of reference supersede the rules are not required to be obtained, amended to remain valid and enforced. Every person who is legally responsible for the site rehabilitation pursuant to chapter 376 and 403, except those specifically is excluded herein and should comply with the provision of the chapter subject to the enforcement to compel with the compliance with the provision of the chapter 3. Any person voluntarily rehabilitates the site with comply with the provision of the chapter. The person which the department reviewed any documentation concerned with the site of the rehabilitation issue in order with respect to the completion of the rehabilitation class cleanup with the contaminated with the chapter comply with the voluntary cleanups conducted at all sites contaminated dry cleaning solvents, including site rehabilitation dry cleaning facilities, wholesale supply facilities governed with the term of the voluntary cleanup agreement executed with the person responsible for the site rehabilitation and the department pursuant to section 376.3078.111 in Florida State statute cleanup the criteria contained with the chapter shall apply with the voluntary Brownfield Rehabilitation Act are the government by the terms of the Brownfield Site Rehabilitation Agreement within the designated brownfield area. The Brown Site Rehabilitation Agreement shall be executed by the person responsible for the Brownfield Site Rehabilitation in the department pursuant to Section 37685. The chapter applies to site rehabilitation conducted the state-managed cleanup of the department. This chapter of the cleanup target levels developed and pursuant to the chapter applied for the site rehabilitation whenever the release of the discharge causing contribution of the contamination incurred with the prior to, on, and after effective date of the chapter, unless the department has accepted with the cleanup target levels for the site approved of the technical development, technical document, for example, the risk assessment report, the national attenuation, monitoring plan, remedial action plan, current permit, superfunded record decision. Where the department had concurred with the cleanup with agreement documentation of the department and the that's it. Personal responsibility site rehabilitation continues with the activities necessary to achieve the cleanup target levels in accordance with approved technical documentation, permitted, superfunded record of decisions, and the cleanup agreement documentation until the cleanup target levels are achieved. B, the site has received no further action determination site rehabilitation completion order of the department prior to the April 17, 2005. However, the personnel responsible for site rehabilitation may elect with the criteria for the chapter, including the current cleanup target levels established pursuant to thereto, to apply in lieu with the approval of technical documentation permit of the cleanup agreement documentation. 6. The chapter shall apply in conjunction with Chapter 62777 to determine the appropriate cleanup target levels for the contaminated site. With the Chapter 62777 provide the default groundwater, surface water, soil cleanup target levels, as well as natural attention, default concentration for the groundwater, listing of the soil property testing method, listing site-specific conditions, geochemical parameters, default parameters, equations that may be used to establish cleanup target levels of contamination, not listed in the Chapter 62777 Florida Administration Code, alternative ground and soil cleanup target levels for listed contaminations. Cleanup target levels in each of the contamination found in the groundwater and soft surface water soil are specified in Chapter 62777 Florida Administration Code, Tables 1 and 2, derived in pursuant to Chapter 62777 Florida Administrative Code. Alternate cleanup target levels may be established pursuant to 62780. 650 or the Chapter 62, 780, 680 that are applicable to implementing the provisions of the chapter that is enforceable. The department, pursuant to the chapter of the documentation site with the legal responsibility site rehabilitation exists. The contamination found with the site above the information regarding the actual circumstances of the exposure has been approved by the personal responsible for site rehabilitation act of the cleanup target of the effective media. Expected state water quality standard applicable should be adjustable and, if appropriate, taken into account the site specified exposure conditions, including multiple pathways exposure for the same individual subpopulation site. Cleanup target levels should be calculated, taken into account through an important of the potential additive effects of contaminants. 9. The consent order permit that requires assessment rehabilitation of the site has been entered in the department prior to April 17, 2005. Compliance with the term of the consent of the order of the permit that shall constitute compliance with the provision of the chapter. The chapter does not apply with the rehabilitation site contaminated with radiological substances to the extent that such rehabilitation governed in Chapter 404 of the Florida State Law and Federal Atomic Energy of the 1954, Chapter 10073, Statute 923, as amended with the receipt of approval pursuant to the chapter, does not relieve the personal responsibility site rehabilitation for the obligation to comply with the other department rules, for example, 62701, 62713, 62730, regarding disposal, relocation, and treatment of contaminated media. The personal review site rehabilitation advised with the federal, state, and local laws regulations may apply with these activities. Rulemaking Authority 376 303, 376 3071, 376 30701, 376 30784, 37681. The laws implemented 376 3071, 376 30701, 376 3078, 376 81. History News, April 17, 2005, amended June 12, 2013. All right, 200 acronyms and definitions. All words, phrases combined with section 36301 and 36799 shall have the same meaning when used in the chapter unless it's specifically stated otherwise. In chapter see section 376.301, 376.39, the definition following terms: additive effects, added non-gas effects, brownfield area, brownfield site, cleanup target, contamination, contaminated site, discharge, dry cleaning facility, dry cleaning, solvent, hazardous substance, internal institutional control, natural attution, personal responsible brownfield site rehabilitation, petroleum product pollutants risk reduction, site rehabilitation, synergistic effects, temporary point of compliance, wholesale supply facility. The following words of the phrases that used in chapters unless the context clearly indicates the otherwise the following meanings. Action level means a specified concentration of the contaminant if succeeded with during natural attention for the monitoring of the post-effective remediation. Monitoring may require additional site assessment, activity remediation, active levels established during approval of the process of natural attention monitoring plans pursuant to section 62, 780, 690, Florida Administrative Code active remediation monitoring pursuant to the Rule 62, 780, 750. Florida Administrative action level of the not equivalent to cleanup target levels appointed means for the cleanup target levels adjusted with non-carcinogenic contamination with the same target of the organ systems and effect with the hazardous index. Some of the hazardous quotants is one of the carcinogenics cumulative in lifetime excess of the cancer risk of this level to 1.0 E6 as applicable. Background concentration make the concentration of contamination natural occurring with the groundwater, surface water, soil, sediment in the vicinity of the site. Best achievable detection level means practical quantitation limited to refer to the product quality list. Guidelines referenced in subsection 62, 780, 105. For guidance, brownfields site rehabilitation agreement or BSRA means agreement entirely between the person responsible for the Brown Site Rehabilitation Department. The Brown Site Rehabilitation Agreement shall minimum establish the time frame, schedules, and the milestones completion of the site rehabilitation submissions, technical reports, other comments of the provisions pursuant to Section 37685 of the Florida State Statute of the chapter. BSR with the Brownfield Site Rehabilitation Agreement, CAD, the Cleanup Agreement, Documentation. Cleanup Agreement documentation means any order agreement issued for the enter of the department with the person responsible for the site rehabilitation, including voluntary cleanup agreement, person and permanent consent, order final agreement, final judgment, Brownfield site with the subject of the Brownfield Site Rehabilitation Agreement, and the completed cleanup agreement documentation should meet the Brownfield Site Re-Agreement. The cleanup agreement of documentation minimum establishment time of the frame, schedules, milestones for the completion, site rehabilitation task submission, technical documents, other commitment provisions pursuant to this chapter. Contamination or contaminated contamination means the presence of the free product with any contaminated surface water, groundwater, soil, sediment upon the load land of the concentration with exceed the applicable cleanup target level specified in chapter 62, 777 for the administrative codes of water and water the quality standards of 16302 and 62520 and concentration they may result in a contaminated solvent. The definition solely is used in chapter 62, 780 Florida Administration Codes pursuant to section 376300701 shall not be used in the established legal responsibility conducting site rehabilitation. Contamination soil sediment must be sediment of the contaminated. They determine the concentration, contamination, actual circumstances, exposure, biological diversity, study of the toxicity of testing, and other evidence of harmful effects that are applicable to prefer to the sediment guidelines for reference in subsection 62, 780, 101, and 6. Florida Administration Code guidelines evaluation contamination constraints for the sediment quality control testing method. Cleanup target level is defined as CTL subsection 376.301. Department as means of the FDEP, the county Department of the Health local program established under the contract pursuant to section 3763073 to assist the FDEP for the administrative control and containment site cleanup program for the local pollution control program. The receipt delegated authority of the FTPE, Florida Department of Environmental Protection pursuant to section 37689 and 403182 Florida State Statute. Administrated all parts of the Brownfields program. For more information, visit the Florida Department of Environmental Protection website. Emergency response action means of the in terms for source of the removal conducted pursuant to Rule 62, 780, 500 Florida Code initiated in contact with the department within 24 hours of the discovery of unexpected situation. Sudden occurrence for the serious, urgent nature of the demands immediately active. The alternative theory of the health threat to human health, public safety, and environment. Engineering control means the existing feature, such as a building modification to site, reduce the eliminating potential mitigation of the exposure to contaminations. Example of the modification include physical or hydraulic control, measured capping point of the use treatments and slurry walls. 15. Excessive contaminated soil. For the purpose of Section 373.3071.11b2, that only applies to the site scored with 29 or less, or unless the laboratory results verify the organic vapor the analysis data of the not relevant measure means the soil was saturated with petroleum products. Soil is the cause of the total corrected hydrocarbon measurement of the 500 parts per million. The higher the gasoline analytical group of the 550 parts per million, the higher kerosene analytical group of the reading should be attained with the site of the organic vapor. The analysis instruction flame ionization detector survey mode for the upon disposal sampling at headspace and filled with the 8 ounces of their 16-ounce jars. Each soil sample should be split into the 2 jars. 2 subsamples shall be brought in the temperature between 20 degrees Fahrenheit, 68 degrees Fahrenheit, 32 degrees Fahrenheit, or 90 degrees Fahrenheit. The readings shall be obtained with 5 to 30 minutes thereafter. One of the readings shall be obtained with the use of the activated charcoal filter unless the unfiltered reading is not detected. The total corrected hydrocarbon measurements shall be determined in subtracting filtered reading of the unfiltered reading. Insulated instruments. The photoionization detector may be used, but shall not be used in situations where humidity is interfered with the instrument sensitivity, including periods of rain, measurement, waste, wet, moist soil. Instrument of the photoionization detector is filtered reading and is not warranted, but therefore sample splitting is not necessary. Analytical instruments shall be calibrated in accordance with the manufacturer instructions. Exposure unit means an area over with the receptors expected to have equal or random exposure. FTEP stands for Florida Department of Environmental Protection. Free product means of the presence of the non-aqueous phase liquid environmental excess with 1/10 1/100 of the foot thickness measurement and thickness point. Gasoline analytical group means of aviation fuel, gas oil, motor gasoline equivalent petroleum products. Groundwater means the water beneath the surface of the ground within zone saturation, whether not flowing through the zones of definition channels. 20. Innovative technology means the process that has been tested using the treatment for the contamination, but lacks an established history of the full-scale use of the information about the cost and how well it is sufficient to support prediction of the performance under the variety of the operation condition. Interim source of removal. The means of the removal of the free product: contaminated groundwater, contaminated sediment, contaminated soil. Remove the contamination from the soil sediment through the contaminated to the extent latching to the groundwater surface of water the occurring prior to the removal of the remedial action plan pursuant to 62 780 700 Florida Administration Code. Kerosene analytical group means of diesel, Jet A, Jet B, JP4, JP5 kerosene equivalent of petroleum products. Low field means groundwater to contain with the aquifer that has an average hydraulic conductivity less than 1 foot per day. Determine the performing of the slug test of the equivalent method determining the hydraulic conductivity on a minimum of 3 monitoring wells and infected with the monitoring zone and maximum yield of 80 pounds per day. Determined in pumping the 4-inch well screened across the cross section of the pump for the minimum of 2 hours. 25. Monitoring well means of the well constructed with the surface received with a sand filter in accordance with the provided with the collection representative of the groundwater sample. The laboratory analysis such wells may also be used to detect presence of the free product with a collected water level evaluation data that aided with determining the direction of the groundwater. MTBE, methyl tetrabutyl ether. Newspaper general circulation means the newspaper published at least one weekly basis printed with the language most commonly spoken in the area which the circulates must not, but does not include the newspaper intended to be primarily for the members of the particular professional occupational group. The newspaper whose primary function is to carry out legal notice in the newspaper that is given away with primarily distributed advertising. Organoleptic means the pertinent to the perceived the sensory organ of color, taste, or odor. The PHS, polycyclic organic hydrocarbons. PCBs, polychlorinated biethanols. Person responsible for site rehabilitation. PRSR means of the department when conducting site rehabilitation, any of the following which may include the agent as authorized representative unless prohibited by statute or rule. A. Any person who has legal responsibility for site rehabilitation pursuant to Chapter 376 of 403 Florida State statutes. Any person who voluntarily rehabilitates a site pursuant to the requirements of the chapter seeks acknowledgement of the department for the approval of site of the rehabilitation program task. B. The individual that is designated by the local government in resolution establishing brownfield area and entered the brownfield site rehabilitation agreement with the department that entered the agreement with the local government with the redevelop the site pursuant to section 37685I Florida statute, the real property owner, facility operative, discharge, or other person entry responsible for the site rehabilitation department. The department is conducting the site of the rehabilitation facility discharge and eligibility stand, funding the cleanup of the pursuant to section 376.305.6, 376.307.19, 376.307.113, 376.3072. Florida State statute, responsible party, real property owner, individual entity that has entered in the voluntary cleanup agreement with the department pursuant to section 376.307.8, 11B. Florida State statute, conducting site rehabilitation, dry cleaning, solvent contamination site pursuant to the chapter of petroleum product contamination. Current terms mean for the contamination listed for the table B with the chapter tables are located with the end of the rule 62, 780, 900 with similar chemical and additives provided with the contamination present with the result of the discharge petroleum products defined in section 376.301. Piezo meter means the permanent temporary well then that may be designed and constructed without surface of sealing filter and sand filter pack with requirements of monitoring well. This type of the well primarily used with detected presence of the free product, collect water level evaluation data with the aid of determining the direction of the groundwater flow. Plumb, the means of proportion aquifers to the groundwater, and the contamination above the cleaning target levels. Background concentrations defined in subsection 62, 780, 203 has been detected. Poor quality means groundwater, the effective monitoring zone for the background concentration defined in subsection 62, 780, 203. The exceeding Florida primary and secondary drinking water standards referenced in chapter 62, 550. PQL means practical quantitation limit. Practical quantitation limit, or PQL, means the lowest level that is reliable measured during the routine laboratory operating conditions specified limited of precision and accuracy. Refer to the practical quantitation limit guidelines referenced in subsection 62, 780, 105. Florida Administration guidelines. Product recovery means the removal of free product. PRSR, personal responsibility for the site rehabilitation. Real property owner means the person of an entity vested in ownership, dominion, legal right, title to the real property of the dry cleaning facility. This includes the individual entity with the ground leasing interest of the real property on the dry cleaning facility, wholesale oil supply facility, or other has been located. Responding action contractor means the person carrying out an emergency response activity. The activity is pursuant to Rule 62, 780, 500. Florida Administration codes, including person they retained hired than such person to provide services relating to the emergency response action. Sediment means an unconsolidated solid matrix occurring immediately beneath any of the surface of water body. The surface of water body may be present for all the time. There may be supportive wetland environmental vegetation. Site means a contaminated site is defined in section 376.301. Site assessment means the performance of any of the tasks and associated activities described in Rule 62, 780, 500, 62, 780, 600. Source removal, the means of removal of the free product of the contaminated groundwater, contaminated sediment, the contaminated soil, the removal of the contamination from the soil and sediment that has been contaminated with the extent of bleaching for the groundwater, the surface of the water occurring after the approval of the remedial action plan and pursuant to Rule 62, 780, 70, 100. Surface water means of the water upon the surface of the entry, earth, of the weather contaminated with the bonds created normally, artificially diffused water from the natural spring shall be classified in source water when it exists for the spring on the earth's surface. TPOC, the temporary point of compliance, TRPH, total recovery petroleum hydrocarbons. UCL is upper confidence limit estimated with the arithmetic mean. 50. Used oil means the lubrication for the internal combustion engine that has been refined with crude oil as a result of the use of storage handling that has become unsuitable for the original purpose due to the presence of the impurities, loss of the properties, but then suitable for the further use as fuels. Economically recyclability for the use of fuels. Used oil shall not be included in any of the use that has been mixed with a material hazardous waste unless the material is hazardous waste solely due to the characteristic of the ignitability is defined in Title 40 CFR Part 261 Subpart C 7, the July 1st, 2012 edition, hereby adopted and incorporated the reference to the www.Florida Rules Gateway reference number reference 02417. The VCA is a voluntary cleanup agreement. VOH is a volatile organic hydrocarbons. Voluntary cleanup agreement means the arrangement entered between the person responsible site rehabilitation department for the purpose of the rehabilitation site contaminated dry cleaning solvents. The voluntary cleanup agreement shall at a minimum establish time frame, scheduled milestones, completion, site rehabilitation, take task submission, technical reports, other comments, provision pursuant to section 376.3078, 11 of the chapter waters and water water of the state means the water is defined in Section 403-031 Florida State Statute. Rulemaking 376303, 3763-071, 3763-0701, 3763-0784, 3761, Florida State Law implemented 3760-3071, 3760-30701, 3763-708, 37681. History News, April 17, 2015, amended to June 12, 2013. I'm trying to... Contamination report. Upon the discovery of the petroleum product contamination, unless the contamination result of the previously reported discharge with the site rehabilitation completion has not been achieved, upon discharge of petroleum product, the notification shall be submitted with the discharge report with the copy with the Rule 62-761-900 Florida Administration Code, Form Number 62-761-901, unless discharge with less than 25 gallons onto a previous surface will to be addressed in the pursuant to subsection 62-785-61. If the discharge will be addressed with the D- previous provision subsection 62-785-62, the discharge shall be reported in State Watch to Office. Discharge report form shall be submitted with the Florida Department of Environmental Protection Office Emergency Response. If the discharge from the storage tank of the system regulated pursuant to 62-761-762 Florida Administrative Code, the discharge shall be reported to facility owner and operator pursuant to the applicability requirements chapter 62-761-762 Florida Administration Code. All other discharged petroleum products with less than 25 gallons are not addressed pursuant to subsection 62-785-61. Florida Administration Code shall be reported with 1 week. Discovered the discharge of petroleum products equal to or exceeding 25 gallons on the previous service. The discharge of the surface water shall be reported with the State Watch Office, the Florida Department of Environmental Action Protection Office of Emergency Response as soon as possible, but not later than 24 hours after occurrence. The discharge shall be reported. The discharge, or the owner operator of the discharge, the owner of the discovery will result with the previous owner reported the discharge. The discharge of dry cleaning solvent greater than 1 quart outside of the contamination structure shall be reported to the state throughout the State Watch Office pursuant to section 376-30789C Florida State Statute, except as provided in subsection C. Discharge of pollutants, hazardous substance, other petroleum products that are being addressed within chapter 62-780 or Florida Administration Code are not subject to notification reporting requirements of this rule section. The discharge of the petroleum products contaminated significant quality of other substances that are not subject to notification reporting requirements of this rule section. For notwithstanding provision subsection 62-782-10-1-3 and Florida Administration Code, nothing in this chapter should be construed to negotiate reporting requirements under the local and state federal law, such as 62-150, the Hazardous Substance Release, the Notification Emergency Plan Community Right to Know Act, Title 3 of the Superfunded Amendments Reauthorization Act of 1986, Title 42, U.S. Standard Code 11001, Extent Sequence, SORA, or Superfunded Amendment Reauthorization Act, the Florida Hazardous Material Emergency Response Community Right to Know Act of 1989, Chapter 252, Part 2 of the Florida State Statute, the reporting requirement to discharge of oil and navigable waters pursuant to Title 40 CFR Part 110 and 112 for purposes of the Rule 62-782-10 of the Florida Administration Code. The discharge means the resident dominion control over the petroleum products at the time of the discharge of the environmental discovery means observing the detection-free product of boreholes, wells, open drain ditches, the open excavation trenches on the nearby surface of the water. The petroleum product exists with 1/10 of a 1/100th of a foot in thickness of sewer lines. Subsurface utility can do it in these vaults unless the product has been removed and it was confirmed the release environmental did not occur. The observance of the visual stained soil with ordered petroleum products resulting from the discharge from the used oil equipment equal to exceeding 25 gallons on previous surface of the sea subsection 62-785-60. Florida Administration Code cleanup with requirements applicable to the discharge less than 25 gallons. Discharge of petroleum products equal to or exceeding 25 gallons on the previous subsidy subsection 62.785.60 for the administration code for cleanup requirements applicable to discharge least than 25 gallons per result analytical groundwater sample exceeding the current target level referenced in chapter 62.777 tape Florida Administration Code table 1 ground criteria column with the petroleum product contamination concern listed in table B with the chapter located at the end of the rule 62.780.900 Florida Administration Code. Result analytical tests on sample soil exceeding lower and direct exposure residential cleanup target leachability based on groundwater cleanup target level specified in 62777 Florida Administrative Code Table 2 with the petroleum product contamination concern listed in Table 2B of this chapter. Rules making authority 376 3036 376 3071 376 3078 376 305 376 3071 376 3071 376 3078 Florida State History News. June 12th, 2013. Notice of field notices. Notice of field activity for the time frame specified on Table A, located in the end of the Rule 62, 78, 0900 Florida Administrative Code, the cleanup agreement documentation, and the person representative of the state site rehabilitation and his agent with authorized representative shall provide the written notice of the department prior to the performing the field activities in terms of the removal activities, installing, monitoring, recovery of the wells, performing sample installation, remediation, equipment installing, engineering, control. Personnel of the department shall be allowed the opportunity to observe the field activities, to take samples of the department chief of presenting the field activities being performed. The department shall be responsible to perform the field activities performed in accordance with the schedule provided with the written notification. Initial notice of the contamination beyond the property boundary, section 376307002, provides specific notice requirements under the upon person responsible for site rehabilitation, discovery, laboratory, and analytical results comply with the appropriate quality assurance protocols pursuant to Chapter 62.160 of the Florida Administration Code. Contamination is this medium beyond the boundary of the property at which the site rehabilitation initiated pursuant to the chapter. Upon the discovery, the person responsible for site rehabilitation should notify the Florida Department of Environmental Protection as soon as possible and not later than 10 days after the discovery. The notice shall be provided with the Form 62.780.901 with the title Initial Notice of Contamination Beyond the Property Boundaries effective the date June 12, 2013. Hereby adopted and incorporated the reference Florida Rules Gateway, the reference number, the reference 01488. Forms may be obtained with the Division Waste Management website department.state.florida.waste. The person responsible for site rehabilitation shall simultaneously mail a copy to such a notice of the appropriate Florida Department of Environmental Protection District, Office of County Health Department, all new and less leases and tenants of the source property of the refer to the section 376307002 for the addition of detailed requirements information that must be included with the notice. Subsequent notice of the contamination beyond the source of the property boundaries establish a temporary point of the compliance. Part of the document department that authorizes temporary extension of the point of the compliance beyond the boundary of the source of the property location with which the contamination originates in conjunction with natural attention monitoring provided with the Rule 62.786.90 Florida Administrative Code, the active remediation pursuant to 62.780.700 Florida Administration Code, the personal responsible site rehabilitation provided with the following notice: actual notice in written form of the mail, certified mail to return with the receipt requested, the other form of delivery provided with the confirmation receipt with the appropriate county health department. All record owners and real property in which the point of the compliance is allowed to extend mail to the owner's address listed in current property tax office record. The notice shall include the following information: type of proposed agency, temporary extension of the point of compliance, description, location, subsite, site name, the address, personal responsible for site rehabilitation, location with complete copies of the relevant documentation concerning the site, the proposed remediation strategy, including temporary extension for the point of compliance, are available for public inspection. Name of the address, the contact person of the department who is the project manager of the site rehabilitation, to whom the comments should be directed from who the department actions regarding the site may be requested. The paragraph including the statement person received with the notice shall have the opportunity to comment on the department proposed action within 30 days of the receipt of the notice for the person or the purpose of the actual notice. The 30-day comment period shall commence the delivery date stated on the return receipt. Instructive notice residential, if different from the real property owner, is notified pursuant to paragraph 62, 782, 23A. business tenants that own any with real property in which the point of compliance is allowed to extend such that the constructive notice is not required for site rehabilitation, beginning conducting the petroleum and petroleum product contamination not associated with the brownfield site. Such constructive notice, which also include the same information required in the actual notice, shall be provided with the complying following. Published noticing at least 2 columns wide, 10 inches long, with a headline type no smaller than 18 point font, body of the notice, no type smaller than 10 point font, standard newspaper, general circulation, including the statement of the notice indicated by the 30-day deadline, but the comments must be received for the purpose of the constructive notice for 30-day comment period to comments for the day of the notice for the published in the newspaper. The copies of the notice about actual constructive must be provided with the department as proof of the compliance with this subsection. The purpose of the constructive notice of the person responsible for site rehabilitation provided with a copy of the provision printed with the newspaper and submitted with the actual newspaper page itself. Status update 5 years when utilizing the TPOC beyond the boundary with the sort of the property to facilitate natural attenuation, monitoring the activity remediation. Additional notice concerning the status of the site rehabilitation shall be similar to, provided with every 5 years to the class of the person who received the notice of the pursuant section 62, 70, 80, 223, unless the intervening such person that has been informed of the contamination no longer the effect of the property in which the point of the compliance will was also extended. Warning signs of the hazardous waste site at sites where the risk of exposure for the public exists, but the do not contamination with the soil, sediment, surface of hazardous waste is defined in section 403.703.13 Florida State Statute. Personal responsible site rehabilitation shall apply those warning signs pursuant to section 403.725.5 Florida State Statutes. 6. Notice of requirements for the schools. If property contamination was discovered in the site of the school as defined in section 1003.01, regardless whether the school property is at the site, whether the site rehabilitation initiated the school board over the district with which the property is located shall provide actual notice of the contamination of the teachers and parents, guardians, students attending the school during the period of the site rehabilitation. Such notice must be provided within 30 days of discovery. Receive the notification from the department, whichever is early, should conform with the requirements of section 376.30702, 2A, C, and D, at least annually during the period of the site rehabilitation. School board of district with which the property shall located shall be continue provided with such actual notice of the contamination updated the appropriate agencies or parent, guardian, student attending the school's representative. Copy of all the notice shall be submitted with the department of all time notice provided with the teachers, parents, guardians prior to the department approval. No further action proposal, institutional control, institutional engineering control of the person responsible for site rehabilitation provided with the constructive notice of the department intent with such approval of the local government jurisdiction over the property subject to institutional control, real property owner, any property subject to the institutional control of the residents, any of the property subject to institutional control, personal responsible site rehabilitation provided with the department the proof of such notice that meets the requirements of subsection 62, 110, 106.5, 8, and 9 Florida Administration Codes, except that notice shall be prepared, published in personal responsibility site rehabilitation within 30 days of the department provisional approval. No further action proposal will insulate to control the notice shall provide with local government jurisdiction over the properties subject to institutional control, real property control, property owner of any property subject to the institutional control, resident of any of the property subject to the institutional control, opportunity to comment with the department within 30 days after the receipt of the notice with the department intent with the wall approval, where subsection 62, 110, 106.8 Florida Administrative Code description of energy. A description of agency action proposed notice shall contain to issue the site rehabilitation completion order of the issue to institutional control of contaminated site. Additional notice for the right language shall be placed in local government's real property owner, any of the property subject to institutional control, resident, any of the property subject to the institutional control over 30 days of the publication notice provided with the comments of the department. The notice should also provide the appropriate mailing address to which the comments must be sent. See subject 62, 780, 107 institutional control procedure guidance with the sample notice templates. Rulemaking Authority 376303, 376307, 376 30701, 376 30702, 376 30784, 37681, 4037 4032755, Florida State Law implemented 3763071, 376307001, 376307002, 3763074, 37681, 403255, Florida State History News, April 17, 2005, amended December 27, 2007, June 12, 2013. Quality assurance requirements. Person performing the sampling analysis pursuant to the chapter shall comply with the applicable requirements of Chapter 62, 164 Administrative Code of Quality Assurance unless otherwise specified with the chapter. Reports that are submitted to the department contain with the analytical data with including the following forms of information and applicability. Laboratory reports include all applicable information specified in the specification 62, 163, 40, 12 for Administration Code. Soil analytical results shall be reported with the derived weight basis. Copy of the completed chain of the custody record of forms. Form 62, 780, 902, effective date, effective June 12, 2013, hereby adopted and incorporated the reference www.floridarules.gateway, the reference ASP number that equals the reference 01489. Equivalent chain custody for the form includes the items required for the Form 62, 780, 902. The forms may be obtained at the Division of Waste Management website, the Department of State, Florida.waste, U.S. Waste copy. A completed groundwater sampling log, Form 50, FD 9024, reference groundwater sampling standard authorization procedure, FS 2200. Results of screening tests and on-site analysts performed pursuant to Chapter for Rulemaking Authority 376303, 376307, 37630701, 37630778, 376381, 403, 087. There's 7 Florida State Law implemented 3763071, 3763071, 3763078, 37681. Florida State History News, April 17, 2005, amended June 12, 2013. Professional certification. All portions of the technical documents specified with the personal responsible for site rehabilitation of the department should be signed and sealed by the professional engineer registered with the pursuant to Chapter 471 of the professional geologist registered pursuant to Chapter 492 Florida State statute certifying applicable portions of technical documentation associated work comply with the standard professional practices of Chapter other rules of the department and other applicable laws rules governing the profession. AFN laboratory report is submitted separately for any of the other technical documentation submitted with requirements shall not apply with the laboratory report. Upon completion of the proof of remedial action, the department shall require professional engineer registered upon pursuant to Chapter 471 of the professional geologist registered pursuant to Chapter 492. Florida State statute certify the applicable portion of the remedial action that the best is or her knowledge ability complete with accordance with the chapter in conformance with the plans and specifications approved by the department. Rulemaking Authority 376307, 37630701, 37630778, 376381, 403087, Florida State Law implemented 376307, 37630701, 37630778, 376680, 376681, 4030877, Florida State History News, April 17, 2005, amended June 12, 2013. All right, combined document. Each of the except the patrol contamination for the site, the interim source, the removal of the report, the site assessment report, the risk assessment report, remedial action plan as applicable may be submitted to the personal responsible for the site rehabilitation department with review either separately. Each of the program tasks complete with the combined with the documentation. Other individual program tasks documentation may be included with the combined document if agreed with the writing of the department. A combined documentation may be submitted with the clean up of the petroleum contamination site, subject to the Brownsfield Site Rehabilitation Agreement. Combined documentation may incorporate the applicable the required content with the intern source removal of the report and site assessment report, risk assessment report, remedial action report, plan with project program task approvals 62 780 500 62 780 600 62 780 650 62 780 700 Florida Administrative Code respectively, including the interim source removal purpose. No further action proposal. No natural attenuation but the monitoring plan associated with the site assessment report, risk assessment program or risk assessment report. The person responsible for the site rehabilitation elects to prepare combined documentation in lieu of the individual program task documentation. The decision should be documented with the complete cleanup agreement documentation. Document the person responsible for the site rehabilitation to notify the department in writing of the ones of the decision is made at the time of the filing with the combined documentation governing the early submission deadline for each of the component unless the department agrees to be different in schedule in advance of writing within the time frames of table A located in the end of the Rule 62, 780, 900 with the computer cleanup agreement documentation. Personal responsible for the site rehabilitation submit any electronic paper copy combined with the documentation to the Department of Review, including applicable professional certifications required pursuant to 62, 780, 400. The Department shall provide the person responsible for site rehabilitation written approval order individual program task combined with the documentation. Notify the person responsible for site rehabilitation writing station. The reason one or more of the individual program tasks combined with the documentation does not conform with the requirements of the applicable work criteria with the Rule 62, 780, 500, 62, 780, 600, 62, 780, 650, 62, 780, 700 Florida Administrative Code. The reason for the no further action proposed in the natural association management plan does not meet the applicable criteria with Rule 62, 780, 68, 0, 62, 780, 69, 0, respectively. The individual program task combined with the documentation completed with any respect insufficient to satisfy the requirements of the applicable criteria with Rule 62, 780, 562, 780, 600, 6280, 700, 650, 6280, 780, 700. The Florida Department shall inform the person responsible for site rehabilitation pursuant to paragraph 62, 780, 455B. Florida Administration Code, the person responsible for site rehabilitation should submit the Department of Review and electronic paper with the combined documentation and addendum. The address of deficiency within 60 days after the receipt of the notice. Rulemaking Authority 376307, 37630701, 37630784, 37681, 403 087 Florida Start Law Implemented 3763071, 3763071, 3763074, 37681, 403 087 Florida State History News, April 17th of 2005, amended June 12th, 2013. Alright, I'm going to cut the tape there. That's halfway, I believe. Good 45 minutes.